I got a video here today that I've been wanting to do for a little while, and I've just got into this myself. It's actually 3D printing, and 3D printing's been around for, probably a really long time. As far as I know, it's been around for 10, 15 years, and it started off as a process that was delicate, where you had to get temperatures and speeds and all this stuff down right. And basically what it is you have a filament, and there's different types of filaments now, different types of plastics that you could use, PETG, ABS, and other rubbers, and there's just so many for different types of machines. But in the case of what I'm using, PETG is actually what I've been selecting for a lot of my builds. And what it is it's a type of plastic that it basically allows it to melt at a high boiling point from a big spool of filament that's about this big, right? Not that big at all. And then it turns it into what you see here. It slowly goes around in traces and turns them into a final product like you guys see here. Now, for the longest time, many considered it more of like a toy hobby kind of thing. You could build something very generic or basic. Maybe you build something like this, although this is incredibly detailed as far as its function, and you have the ability to also create threads and then store whatever you want inside there, make it hollow, and so you create a wall thickness. It's just gone so far now, and yeah, is it fun for building toy models? Yeah, of course. If you're into any sort of movie or theatric, you could create it on any scale. Now, is it foolproof? No. But here, look, they created some cross bracing inside there. But all in all, my boys, they managed to still break it. But that's going to happen. It's also really cool about it is you could also create links. You could link plastic together without physically weaving it through right by hand. You're just laying plastic upon plastic, layer upon layer, and it actually embeds itself. And that is completely tied together via 3D printing. It's not going anywhere. You have to break this to get it apart. Other fun things that have come up is, fidgets. It's a fidget spinner. So if you want to spin it, it's a little gamepad. If your kid wants to sit there and play a gamepad, push buttons, right? You have something all in one, hanging from a keychain. All in one, that's fairly sturdy. This one especially is fairly sturdy, but allows you to do all sorts of fun fidget stuff with it. Again, you could loop plastic in on itself just by slowly layering it. You can create these cool little skeletons. Or you can create fun little toys. Like this, they'll shoot Q-tips across the room. My boys love that one as well. And it just uses the plastic as spring. Yeah, you print something like this, and each one of these, most of these took like an hour or less to print. And then these are cool functional. If you're into Legos, you could create a light switch or a wall outlet plug-in that your kids could play with. Or you could create a guy that stands on his own and then sits as well. But I think the reason for many of you guys are still probably watching this video is it's not just for toys and for fun or stress relief. All right, this one's extremely sharp. You see my hand, a good little stress ball. This one's a little bit less sharp. But you could actually create tools with it. And I got a couple. I'm going to show you. Again, I've only been just doing this for a week myself, a very short amount of time. And I think there's something to be said about which ones you get. And I'll talk about that here in just a minute. But in the case of making myself a knife, this one is very simple in that it's an out the front plastic knife that I made in, I think, a little bit over an hour. Now it comes in pieces. So you can actually pull it apart. You can take it all the way apart, and there's your mechanics of it all. Slides together, and it prints it in multiple pieces, and it uses this little plastic spring on the inside to do the back and forth motion. And it's got another little plastic spring just for up and down pressure to go inside here. So you put it back together like so. Drop it in. Bullet blade, back in action. The little lanyard on the back end for you to hook onto if you like to, or to the back. And it still has the anti-stab feature. Although I'm not going to really practice on myself, but as it goes out, it stops. It gets disengaged, just like the real ones. The ones you pay several $100s for. And what it cost me to make this, especially since I like these utility knives, very simplistic. If you're just going to cut open cardboard boxes, light duty, this is perfect. It's a strong plastic they actually did it full strength all the way through, so it's going to be much like something you'd see in a industrial application. And then you can even change the texture of the grip that you want here. I chose this kind of cubic design. You could do all sorts of different designs that you want on there, because people make these and engineer them in AutoCAD or in another similar program, and then they upload them, and then they give you different variations that you could do. You could do in different colors, multicolors. I've only been really doing singular colors. You can mix colors, so you got like 3 colors in one. You can do all that kind of stuff with this. But just look at the finish work. This is nice. This is really well done. And for something that, I mean, this probably cost me less than $1 to make. Not including the utility blade on the end. But works fine. Put it in my pocket. I'd like to see a belt clip eventually. Maybe I can make one screwed into there, what have you. But awesome for that price. So that's just one. And then the last one I want to show you guys here is one for tool organization. So why not do that? Because you have to pay somebody else to give you tool organization. And there's a lot of you guys who like certain manufacturers that create stuff. I found one just yesterday that I liked. It's this guy right here. Well organized. It goes through the gambit all the way down to 8. It doesn't have any skips in it. And the guy made several different ones. One for smaller sizes if you like smaller wrenches. And then one for SAE. And it's free to download. And it's on my phone as an app. You just scroll through, search by whatever category. And yeah, it's great because this whole thing is a strong plastic that's got all this extra reinforcement in it. And I went ahead and I painted the top of these numbers with a paint pen. That way they actually show and I could see, and it's organized both different ways. So if you have a preference of which way you have it, now it prints both ways. You can see it. And I like it that it stacks my wrenches straight up and down. And these are the icons that I got. And this works. This sizing is pretty popular for a lot of wrenches, especially if you go no skips. In this case, icon went no skips with these flex heads, these flex head box ends. And this makes it so much more practical than what I had before. I had the Sata one that put them at a 45-degree angle, spread them out, and it was another 20-30% longer than what it currently is as this. And this is exactly what I needed. And you know, if you take it one step further and you want to be like the guys that engineer it, you could literally engineer this design yourself and make it to, maybe you want to go up to 21, maybe you want to go further up to 30. I mean, you could pick the sizing and design this exactly to your needs, and I think that's cool. And that's something I want to kind of start to dabble in as I grow into this. But I wanted to bring you guys along because it's 3D printing, I think, is changing its form, and it's becoming much more interesting. I mean, it's not just for the techie guys or the fun guys, it's also for your workplace, for you guys. And if you're into it, you could get into it fairly cheap, I think, price-wise, especially if you're looking at, if you spend so much money on, $300-400 on a set of tools, you could buy yourself a 3D printer. And I'll put a picture here so you guys can see my printer I have. I'm not telling you which one to buy, but through my research that I did, Bambu Labs actually makes a really nice one that does a great job at leveling the plates, picking appropriate temperatures, and it has a great following, and it has a great design album that basically has thousands of 3D printable objects in it that you could access. Again, there's other open source platforms where you could design it and then import it in and then print it yourself. but I really like what Bambu Labs has been doing, and there's a couple other manufacturers out there that are tempting, I think, to catch up with Bambu's doing. I'm not sponsored by them or affiliated with them in any way, but if it helps you guys, they make 2 different types, and you can get in as low as, I think, $300, or spend as much as I did and get it closer to $500 with multiple spools for changing colors and stuff. So most of you guys probably won't want the multiple colors. You want just a singular color and just get yourself going, and probably print black and be good to go. But let me know, guys, are you interested in learning more about 3D printing? Because I'm more than happy to take you guys along on my journey and share with you guys what I've learned and what works, what doesn't. I'll say this, though, so far with working with the Bambu stuff, it is virtually turnkey. I mean, I want to say it's foolproof. For me, it feels foolproof because I know nothing about it. I'm a week in, and I've created all these things, and I haven't had a project fail yet. Knock on. I don't know what that is. Mostly metal, maybe a little bit of wood underneath. So if you're wary and you want something that's going to treat you right, there's definitely less expensive ones out there, but I think the pricing's still really great on Bambu, and their pricing is going up slowly. I bought it on the uptick, and I think it's only going to get more expensive because they're really starting to differentiate themselves from the other guys who have not quite caught up yet. Yeah, that's my thoughts, guys. What do you think? Are these things cool? Are they worth your time? Would you be interested in doing your own tool organization, or maybe even making some of your own tools that you could scrap, or I mean, I could lose this today and not really care about it. I could print another one within 2 hours, have it fully printed, ready to run, and operational. What do you guys think? I'd love to hear your comments. Please post them down below. And again, I'll put some links down below for you guys too if you're interested in this stuff. But let me know if you want to learn more about this stuff, or if 3D printing is interesting to you guys. All right, guys, thanks again for watching, and we'll talk to you soon.